I know that these two episodes required some freaking thinking.
You ain't kidding.
Which for me is always a taxing thing. So, oh man, yeah. I've got everything recording. I'm gonna actually make myself like a little you see, thinking not good late night, and this is my third recording today.
Holy shit.
Like a laminated sheet for like a checklist for each podcast of shit that I gotta they like, for recording and making sure everything is set up. Say something one more time so I can check the
Say something.
There you go. That works. All right. Let's roll that intro. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Anime Versal Reviews podcast here on the Genreverse Podcast Network, where we get your podcast from, and on the Genreverse Podcast Network YouTube channel, part of the big LRM online family. Check out lrmonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. And we're sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. A little bit more from them later on in the episode. I am Kyle Malone, and not joined tonight by my wife, who couldn't hang. Man, no, I'm joking.
It is late.
But I am. What was that? It is late. It is late. But I am joined by Brian. What's up, bud? How's it going?
Hey.
So, Classroom of the Elite Season 2 is two episodes in. Christine and I did the review for the first episode last week. So I want to start off by asking you, Brian, for a general spoiler-free kind of thoughts on the first episode, and then a grade for it, so I can go back and plug that in.
First episode, confusing. I was a little surprised where it started. In terms of
like right after.
Exactly. That really caught me off guard, and then going into another puzzling situation. It was very confusing. Even the show addressed how confusing it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not completely clear on how things are playing out, but it was a decent episode. If I was going to score it, I'd probably B-.
Yeah, I think Christine and I were actually. I'm on the last page of my first notebook when I started using these notebooks. So, and this is just since January 17th. What did Christine and I give it? Go back a couple of pages. That's a great thing about it, and it'll also hopefully help one day when I get back to making little clips and stuff like that. Christine gave it a B. I gave it a B plus. So yeah,
the whole spectrum of B's.
All there in B's. It was confusing, and this episode tried to ease a little bit more into that. I did like how, like you mentioned, the show addresses how confusing this situation is, and the really. I don't know if it's on purpose. If it's on purpose, I think it's brilliant by having us learn as the students are learning too. Like, they didn't even go into the whole, because usually when you get something explained in universe confusingly, there's always one smart character that can re-explain it in layman's terms for us, and they were like, nope, we'll have to go along with it. And I like that. Christine getting into episode 2, I'll say Christine did not like it at all. She was very, very upset. She's like, I felt like nothing happened. And I was like, I don't know. I think we learned some things about some characters. How'd you kind of feel about episode 2?
Actually liked it more, I think, because
so did I.
Yeah, and it was mostly because we're focusing on characters we haven't as much.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we're also digging into, we'll get into spoilers later, but there's a great scene at the bar There's a lot of the politics,
Mhm.
going what the way that last season ended, sort of the last 2 or 3 episodes, we started getting back into that in this episode. So that I liked.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I I felt like we learned a lot about Karuizawa, and God, what was the other one's name? Ichinose, the one that's kind of been the peppy hold the group together there in the Mars group, the one that's kind of taking charge. And I also think we learned something about the red-haired antagonist from Class C and some of his feelings on uh, uh, Horikita. Horikita. I think there's definitely a little bit more to him and his motives and thoughts on and of her than just superficial. I think you're hot, or I want to screw around with your mind or whatever. We kind of saw in the first season. So I thought it was a really good episode. I do see where she's like, where Christine was getting when she's like, it doesn't feel like too much happened. And story wise, yeah, sure, because there's like 4 or 5 discussions that happen for the special exam, and none of them really continue anything on. But I, like you said, it's politics and I think a lot of characters stuff, and I think there's a lot of hints in this episode.
Yeah, I could see the one. I think the one issue would be, and this is probably what affected her opinion, is the location. Because there's only like 2 or 3 places that they
the
come.
Hallway,
yeah,
the discussion room.
and so yeah, it almost feels like we're treading water, even though they're literally on a boat. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. So if you were to grade, and I forgot to tell you, we are going to try to up our what's the word I'm looking for, like prestige of reviewing stuff, and actually review each episode again. So what would you give episode 2, Brian?
This would be a B+.
Okay. I kind of regret my grade last time, and would probably revise it, having seen this from my B+ to like a B, and then I would make this as well a B+. I think it's even potential that first episode could, I don't want to say suffer any more, because it's an initial setup, but I almost felt like if you were going to be that confusing with the rules, maybe you shouldn't have taken so much time explaining them.
It's the weakness of it is, in my opinion, is with any series, you even though it's a second season, you want it to be a good jumping on point.
Yeah,
that was not.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the biggest issues with it. It's not something I would recommend to somebody who hasn't watched season 1.
Yeah. Anyways, you keep your stuff rolling, because I don't think we're gonna have to eat up all 25 minutes. But we'll go ahead and take a word from our sponsors, and then get into some spoilers.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation is your one-stop shop for hydroponic grow supplies, product systems, and more. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Not too shabby. Thank you, Grow Generation, for sponsoring the episode as usual, guys. Link in the description box down below. Also, if you're watching this like in the browser on lrmonline.com, it's somewhere on the page. So episode 2 spoilers, man. Really the biggest kind of like plot details, if you will. One, Karuizawa, she and her boyfriend are in a fake relationship, basically to help her out with her status. Don't really know what he was getting out of it, other than having some arm candy, as they say. But the other thing I kind of wanted to ask you about is what is his name? The red-haired antagonist and Horikita. What is that dude's name? What do you think is going on with him Ryuen? Because he definitely seems more interested in her. I'm wondering if he's actually got, and I don't mean to romanticize everything, but I'm wondering if he's got more of a respect for her than he's letting on. Like maybe he's got some actual romantic interest, not just, horniness or anything like that. And then I also wonder if it's something more mental. Like is she a challenge? But I feel there's a little bit more under the surface between his interactions with her. What do you think?
There's definitely something more because he's continuing to call her by her first name.
Mhm.
He's like you said, he's really targeting her. Just the way I don't know. Is it connected with her brother? Maybe is there something there to that? Because he does seem to be trying to position himself as a top person.
Yeah.
And so, does he look at her as a gateway to that? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he was legit in the offer to team up with the other classes to knock A down? Because I actually think that was a legit offer to her and her alone.
It was a smart play, the way he laid it out. What little of the rules I understand, I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Go
Go ahead. I was going to say, basically, the rules, the way that I got it, there's the several outcomes, and it's the more everyone works together, the better it is, but it's lower points for everyone. The less people work together, the higher individual or individual group or individual class rewards can be, but the punishments get worse. So the most selfish moves you can make gets you a lot of shit, but if you get caught or you mess it up, you're screwed. So it's interesting. What were you gonna say?
That's what's so fun about it. It is sort of that each class seems to have a completely different strategy. A's is don't talk.
Don't talk.
Don't talk. C, collect everyone's phone. and take that information and then use that, which is clever. D doesn't really have too much of a plan, although they are somewhat sharing some information back and forth. So I don't know. And our main protagonist is trying to figure everything out, but I don't know that we'll see if it'll be like the end of last season, if he's worked out some way to, win, but he's clearly trying. But there's too many factors at play. The system, the game is almost set up in a way where it's almost impossible to manipulate everybody. It's very difficult, at least the way you've broken them up, mixing the classes, 8 different groups. I mean, there's
Did you not like that? That was twisted, right?
too many moving parts, which is clever.
Yeah. Now you're forced to reconsider who and how you screw people over, because it's not just a class thing or an individual thing. It's this whole grade thing, if you will, and it's very, very, very interesting. One of the other big parts about this, I mentioned Ichinose, the girl that's kind of leading Mars group, and Karuizawa, she's the one that bumped into some girl, and that girl's pissed. Dude, I was pretty freaking shocked, like on how brutal it seemed like it was going to be. Like, dude, one of the girls threatens to cut her. She's like, should we cut it? Like, brutal, man. And it does give us quite a cliffhanger. And I'm wondering why I'm wondering why dude tried to didn't stop it immediately. What is he looking for? What is he waiting on?
I think my only thought is he's trying to see if this in any way can factor into the game.
I know, right?
And maybe he's calculating. I don't know where he's going with it, but yeah, I don't know. He's definitely strategizing something in order to let it go as far as it's already gone. He did say at the end of last season, he'll do whatever it takes. And, I don't know.
I think Karuizawa is a VIP because, like he said, whenever she's in the room, she's not herself. And even I noticed that in the first episode. I don't know if Christine and I mentioned it on the review, but while we were watching episode 1, I was like, I wonder if she's a VIP with how she acts watching in the boardrooms or in the discussion rooms. And I found that interesting. And Ichinose, they haven't said she's a VIP or anything. She's just kind of got that take charge attitude. What do you see in them? Do you think either one of them are VIP? Or
going back to what you said earlier, the show, it's not telling us a lot of stuff about this game. It hasn't told well, there was one name that they thought was, or they alluded to maybe being at the beginning, but the show's not telling us. It's almost making us try and work it out as well. So
fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that is interesting that the show's keeping that quiet.
Yeah. I dig the puzzlers for us as well. I always liked do you remember I know you remember Scooby-Doo, but do you remember a pup named Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember how like solving the crimes for a pup named Scooby-Doo usually made more sense than the stuff from classic Scooby-Doo, which would be some rando guy that you saw in like one frame. And it'd be like, oh, it's that farmer guy, and here's some stuff about him that we barely saw in the episode. I always enjoyed that type of interaction when I was a kid, picking up on the clues. And this goes into everything on that on the adult and big brain level. But basically what I'm trying to say is I've enjoyed this type of thing for a long time. I'm not the world's biggest procedural crime person, but real thinkers like this, I don't want to necessarily find out who murdered who for the family riches. I'm really interested in the more like psychological and like, you do know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed that. And then there was one more part that I wanted to bring up, and now I'm having issues. That's the other scene. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. So the teacher conversation.
I don't know what the hell is going on with that.
Because dude, you get the feeling that every aspect of this school is segregated based on positions and groups, and everyone is out to get everyone else. And I don't know, you think of like even in the real world of admin versus teaching staff and the difference between those, and then teaching staff to the students, and then all the different breakdowns of the students. Isn't that kind of exciting that there's yet another facet to, because
it's another layer.
We didn't see this
because we get the line about 10 years ago and this, and why are you interested in this student, and they're playing their own game as well, to a degree. And and it's like, okay, that was the thing about this episode. It started opening up other areas and characters that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to,
Yeah. I get it, man. I was very, very very impressed with all the little things that they've put in these first 2 seasons. Although it hasn't been the best execution of it, there's so much potential, and maybe even not. And this might all end up being simpler than we think, which would be a mind frack of its own. But I think there's so much potential in this season. You think if we get 12 episodes, then they said there was going to be like 2 or 3 of these problems, and this is just the first problem, if I'm not mistaken. and I might be mistaken. Go back and have to rewatch it, but I wonder how much of this season this particular test takes up. It'll be interesting because it's like a 3-day thing for them, that with a rest day, like 2 days into it, as the boat's traveling. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. Anything else to say on the episode? No. All right, guys. Head over to lrmonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news needs and opinions. We have written articles, reviews, things on like news aggregation, like announcing Anime Expo's having a smaller artist alley and exhibit hall focused convention in September or November. So all sorts of things go up there. We have celebrity interviews on the LRM YouTube channel, red carpet, blue carpet, whatever that is, Disney Plus, and then of course like in person Zoom interviews, all of that. Our podcasts are available there, and also on whatever app you want to use, Google, Spotify, Apple, anything. It's all free. Check out Daily Cup of Genre does daily news or geeky conversations, whatever I or many feel like talking about. Anime-versal reviews, you're watching that, so you know what we do there. Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, they do weekly news and usually have a movie or series that they're gonna review. Marvel Multiverse Mayhem and the Cantina do Marvel news and reviews and Star Wars news and reviews respectively. And you can get all of those on the YouTube channel as well. Hit the red subscribe button. Please help us grow so we can start making money off of the channel besides just the endorsements. They endorse the website as well, GrowGen. But I also do the genre shot trailer reactions on there. So if you like watching middle-aged men react to geeky trailers and stuff, check it out. Brian does YouTube as well, and that's on screen. Brian, tell him about it.
Yeah, the channel's PulpMythos, and go check it out. We'll talk about a lot of weird shows, and
yeah, there you go. Hopefully all three of us will be here next week, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.